Welcome to Nerds Geeks in the Kitchen Sink. It's a podcast that's like hanging out at the video store. Today, Chris, our other co-host, decided he doesn't want to be here yet. He may pop up, he may not. We don't know.
Prove if you feel like it.
Improve if
Is
you feel like it.
that,
Chris,
is
we're
that, is
telling
that the
you,
line?
maybe it's time to improve. Just a little. Look, was I 10 minutes late? Yes. But it's far beyond that, Chris, and we expect you to be here. Okay? Anyway, hi everyone.
Hey,
We have a
what's up?
great guest. We have Shawn Buckingham back with us again. Longtime listeners know Shawn. First and foremost, great guy. Also does comics. Any comic updates while we're talking about that?
Yeah. I mean, let's say this. I took a little bit of a break. I didn't need a break necessarily, but you know how it goes. You're kind of grinding a little bit on something, and then you stop. And so, yeah, basically,
You
I
skipped leg
really,
day.
yeah, just like
You
leg day.
shouldn't do that.
Let's not talk about that. That's bad. But no, I got back into it. I've been doing a lot of work lately. I've been watching some videos on coloring and how to improve my flat work and how to improve some of the coloring that I'm doing. And and I learned a couple new things, which I use. Procreate is the program that I use, and
Sure.
yeah, it's amazing. But there were a few things that I didn't realize that I could do, and I was like, "What? This makes it so easy." And so
Yeah.
anyway, so I'm hoping that issue two, when it comes out, which hopefully will be out by the summer, um, I'm hoping that it will be a step up from issue one. So
Awesome. 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 Well, we'll be looking out for that. I know, like when I was doing pixel art, you think you're kind of got it, and then you find a new tool that you didn't notice before that does something, and you're like, oh, this changes my whole process.
yeah, totally.
It's crazy.
Well, I was learning a lot about oh God, the three main things like hue, tone, and saturation. Maybe I can't remember. But anyway, I was learning about that by watching these videos of how current comics are colored because you'll see a lot of them and they'll be like the whole panel or the whole page is blue, but it's different shades of blue and it works.
Hmm.
And I wanted my comics to have more of a 90s appearance, but I do like that the way they color current comics. So I'm trying to do a little bit of a blend of both.
Hmm.
But before I was just choosing the colors, and I found that on these advanced, technologically advanced programs, it does it for you. Like in Procreate, there's a way to choose your colors, but it will show you the complementary color. And then all you have to do is just barely move things and you stay within that range. You stay within that hue. You can lighten it, darken it. I'm like, why did I not see this before? What's wrong with me? I'll tell you what's wrong. I'm old. Okay. Pencil and paper, crayons, markers.
Sure.
You don't have to do that.
I've
But
heard of those things.
those old school things, yeah. Analog drawing techniques.
That's right. Well, the first thing we normally do would be to talk about what you've been watching, what you've been playing, reading, anything. So we're going to talk about as our main feature today, Captain America: Brave New World, or Red Hulk movie, as I've been calling it. Uh, so, leaving that out, what have you been watching, playing, listening to, etc.?
All right. Well, as we talked pre-show, I've been playing a lot of Minecraft, which,
Hmm.
what I will say, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. Everybody knows Minecraft has been around forever, but if you haven't played in a while, jump back in, find some friends that are on Realms. Realms is a really cool thing, like DK was talking about earlier. You can play from pretty much anything that you have, and if you get a couple friends together, it's a lot of fun. So jump back in, play Minecraft. The other thing that I've been playing game wise is Rivals. I I love the game, but I am a sucker for Marvel. I cannot lie. You could give me Marvel on a crap sandwich, and I'm going to eat it because
Mm.
it's Marvel. I know that sounds disgusting, but it's true. And so I was never an Overwatch player, really. I played a few times, or Valorant, or any of those types of games. Um, but I kind of learned that style with Rivals and the mechanics of that style, and I've been having a great time with it. It's a lot of fun. I like the characters. I like the way that it's animated and the art style that they use. So, I know you guys have talked about it previously, but I really enjoy that game. It's a good game.
I'm having trouble with it. I find it to be a little too chaotic and noisy. I hate the announcer voice, the Galactus, what's her name? Lil
Yeah.
Galactus lady.
Well,
That
yeah.
it's too anime for me. I think that's the problem. I really don't get into anime, and
Okay.
those voices and the way it looks, and it just seems like a chaotic mess to me. Maybe
It,
didn't give it enough time, but I played a ton of Overwatch, and I've played all these hero shooters.
right.
So I don't know what it is, and I am a Marvel fan, but I played this, and I just like there were too many things against it where I was like, I could be playing three other things that I want to play right now.
Yeah, that's valid because when I first started playing it, that's exactly the way that I felt. And I will be 100% honest. I do not care for some of the voicing in it. Some of that is annoying to me.
Mhm.
I'm not a big fan of the little, the cutesy little girl voice when she yells things. Sometimes it's funny, but after a while, it's just like it's played. But the chaotic mess, I once I actually started learning characters better, and I started with one of the most hated characters in the game, which is Hawkeye. Everybody hated him in season 0 or whatever it
Sure.
was because he could one shot you from across the map. But he was most like a third person shooter player to me. And
Right.
that's what I am, that's what I'm versed in. So as I've branched out and learned different players, yeah, I don't know. I've been having a good time with it. Um, I like it better when I can play with at least a couple of friends because I
Sure.
find, when you're in random groups, people are like, it's like, to take over an area, you have to be in the area. What don't you understand about this? You can't have
Yeah.
four of the players standing outside you. You're not going to win the match. And I'm
Yep.
about winning the match, not necessarily, taking all the glory. So, but anyway, and I do like I said, I do like the art style that they have. I think it's pretty cool. But again, everybody's different, and everybody should be different. So, maybe give it a little bit more time, or maybe don't if you have three other games you want to play.
Listen,
Because you know
I'll
what?
eventually try it again, I'm sure. It's still on my hard drive. I haven't deleted it.
Okay,
I'll try it
well,
again eventually, I'm sure. But just, first impressions, I was like,
but
it's
life is
just not,
short. Play
yeah,
what you love.
that's true. Well, I'm stuck on the finals, which is a shooter. That's like a
Okay,
more calculated, tactical. It is chaotic in its own way because buildings are just falling apart around you. But I'm really into that. So I don't know. I mean,
is
that's
that
been my
that's
shooter.
is that PC?
Everything,
Everything?
PC, console. If you got a PS5, you can play it.
Okay, finals. Is that what you said it
The
was?
finals. Yep.
Oh, the finals. Okay, I haven't heard of it, so I'll have to check it out because I
That's the
like.
problem with it. No, people, it has a kind of generic name, the finals, and it doesn't have any big thing attached to it. It's not a spin-off of something, whatever. It's its own original thing. So I think
Okay,
that works against it, but I really, really love it.
I'll have to check
So,
it out because my favorite all time, probably my favorite all time shooter was The Last of Us multiplayer
oh,
because
that's fun.
I felt like the mechanics of that game were spot on. I liked the what would you call it? The physics aspect of it.
It's a fairly
Everything,
unique multiplayer for sure.
yeah, yeah. And it was just there was something about it, and I am so disappointed that Naughty Dog did not bring out a new version of that when the second game came out.
Well, that was the
I mean,
idea, right? But then they canceled it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it was, and it's like they could have gone, they could have done so much with that, and especially with games like Fortnite and other games like that, they could have added aspects like that to it, and I don't know why they didn't because they're a fantastic company, but maybe it is what it is.
yep, yep. Yeah, understandable. It sucks, but yeah, like you said, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You been
Um,
reading anything else or playing anything else or
um,
watching?
I've been watching a few things. I did watch the first episode, I think, of the new Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
I haven't seen it
Uh,
yet. What did you think?
Um, Initially, I like it. I know they've made some changes to some characters and things like that that I've heard are, so-so to some people,
Hmm,
but I enjoyed it. I feel like Peter Parker looks like Peter Parker from like more of the 60s kind of comic. He's got the
sure.
round glasses. He's very nerdy. Um, but he doesn't get his powers in the traditional way. I mean, he does, but he doesn't. It's not. I don't want to ruin anything for people that haven't seen it, but let's just say it doesn't happen in a lab or on a tour
Okay.
of a science center. Um, so, but anyway, so far it's good. It's good. It's fun. I watched it with with my boys. They seem to enjoy it. So I do want to finish watching that. I don't know that I've really been watching anything else. I did. I'm trying to get through Shrinking. I don't know if you guys have watched that. It's not really like comic
I know what it
based or
is, but
anything,
I've
but
seen what it. Yeah, I know what it is.
but it does have Harrison Ford in it, so it does, it connects. This is we're building a universe here. No,
Sure.
it's I think it's Apple TV, and it's kind of feel good, but it's also kind of fun. So,
I've never watched
um,
a single Apple TV anything because I don't have Apple TV.
well, that there you go.
People will yell
Um,
at me, I think, because apparently there's been some good programming, but I just haven't had the urge. None of them have said, "Hey, you must watch me."
yeah,
That hasn't
I
happened
mean,
yet.
I can't remember why we got. My wife got Apple TV, and I don't remember why, but we've enjoyed some of the shows on it. Um, so yeah, I think we'll probably keep it for a while because we're suckers like that.
Sure.
So,
I've been trimming them
um,
down. I don't know about you, but I've been trimming down my streaming services. I haven't
I
had Netflix since November, and I haven't missed it.
really,
I
that's
haven't missed it.
crazy. My wife handles all that, so I let her handle all that. If she thinks we need to rebudget or take something out, I let her do that because she's the smart one there. Um, so what I've been reading though, and I don't like I kind of want to save this a little bit more for the comics thing, but I'll hold this up for anybody seeing it on YouTube. Now, I will say, can you see that?
Oh, there
GP
it is. Yeah.
GP7.
Yeah.
I will say that unfortunately the title of this comic doesn't translate as well in today's. I was telling a younger guy about it, and they're like, DP7. I think I've seen that movie. And I'm like, no, no, this is not what we're talking about. But it was part of Marvel's new universe that ran from 86 to 89. And I needed 3 issues of it, and I just recently got those 3 issues of it. So I'm going back. There's 33 issues. I'm reading the whole series, and then what my plan is to hopefully to collect all of the new universe titles. There were 7-ish titles, I think. And it's just for me, it's something that I really enjoy. They're not really worth a lot, and I'm not trying to influence everybody to go out and buy all of them and up the price of my comics. But I would think that would be great if you want to do that. But but yeah, it's a great 80s comic, and we can talk more about it now or when you want to do comic talk, however you guys want to do it. So,
We can do
or
comic
however
talk.
you want to do it, because guys is not there because he's not here,
Yeah.
Chris.
Chris doesn't think he needs to be here. So, hmm. Anyway, well, hey, if you want to go more into it, let's go.
Okay. All right. So this is probably my like I was listening to another cast the other day, comic creators cast, and they were talking about, your holy grail. What is your holy grail of comics? Which I thought was kind of an interesting thing. Like the one guy's got an X-Men #1. He was
Sure.
talking about purchasing that for like 3 grand or whatever, and he had trouble justifying it, but the book apparently is worth like 20 grand now or something like that. The other guy, which his book has got to have jumped huge in price. This was about 4 years ago when this cast was done, and his holy grail of books was, I think it's Fantastic 449. It's the first appearance of Galactus,
Oh,
and
okay.
with that movie coming out, oh my god, it's got to have jumped in price.
I'm
but
sure.
uh but anyway, I was thinking about that, and like, what's the holy grail of my comics? And I think the DP7, the new universe, is the holy grail of my comics. For some reason, you guys have read my first comic, you guys know a little bit more about my comic universe. Going back and reading these, I did not realize how much I'm not going to say stole, I'm going to say reimagined,
Was inspired by.
inspired by this universe and what they did. And it has always stuck with me. And the stories in it, DP7 in particular, it was written by Mark Grunwald and penciled by Paul Ryan. Both of those guys are dead now. They both passed probably quite a few years ago.
Hmm.
But Mark Grunwald actually had a huge run on Captain America. I think he was the writer for Cap for from 85 to 95.
Oh, damn.
Um, and he either created or was instrumental in creating characters like Sidewinder, Crossbones, U.S. Agent.
Oh, crap.
So
Some of
so
the
yeah, I
huge
mean,
ones that were like the MCU loves.
yeah, absolutely. And so it's like he's such a good writer to me. And he did issues of Thor, he did Iron Man, he did most of the Avengers in some way or another. Um, but what I like about DP7 in particular of the new universe is Paul Ryan and Mark Grunwald, I believe, were the only team of writer and penciler that did all 33 issues. Because again, it only ran from 86 to 89.
Right.
I think there was one Star Brand, which is another one. I think it only actually had 19 issues, but those two were the only team I believe that ran the whole time. Again, it's interesting because it is more like what would happen if we all got superpowers today. That's what DP7 is. It stands for Displaced Paranormals. They call them paranormals because of their abilities. There's 7 of them. They end up going to basically checking into a clinic that is supposed to help them, and the clinic turns out to not be such a good clinic, and
Hmm.
so they escape at one point. But it's all about how they're dealing with their abilities and their superpowers, and what happens to them. So the other thing that's interesting about the new universe is when Marvel brought it out, one of their ideas was that, it is a new universe. The existing superheroes, they kind of maybe talk about them as comic book form, but this is supposed to take place in that time range of 86 to 89. And basically, it was current, it was with our timeline, which was really, really interesting.
Hmm.
And oddly enough, I believe the last issue that came out in 89 came out today in 89. Well, I don't know if it came out today, but it references February 23rd in 89 because it's my birthday. Yay, birthday.
Yeah.
But I was really, again, these are my holy grail of comics. I just love the series. And so I've drawn a lot from it, got a lot of inspiration from it. And, I don't think I ever realized how much I really enjoyed it until going back and reading it again 20 years, 30 years later. So,
Awesome. That's a
but
great story.
thank you.
That's so nice. I love that. And so did you say you completed it or you only needed a couple more?
So I only needed 3 issues and actually the annual, which I didn't realize I didn't have the annual. And I had picked up a couple issues previously that I didn't have. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to get these issues. I want this complete collection. Why have I not gotten this? This is 40 years ago almost that these comics came out.
Yeah.
And so, and again, they're not high value comics. They're not high dollar comics. I actually talked to some guys at a convention that were, comic sellers. It was a small convention in Collinsville, Illinois. And, these guys were at least my age or older, so in their 50s, maybe 60s, doing this for decades. And I'm like, do you guys have any new universe comics? And they're like, new universe, oh, was that the one with this guy? And then I'm like, yeah. And I mean, like even them as store owners, shop
Yeah.
owners, you know. But so anyway, I needed 3 issues of it, and I was looking on eBay for them. And basically, the issues were really inexpensive, about $5 to $6 a piece. But then when you added shipping, you're looking at $12 extra for shipping. So you're looking at almost $20 a book.
Right.
For $3, that's, it was going to cost me about $50 for the $3. Well, I found a lot that had the 3 issues that I needed, but almost the entire run itself for $40. I was like,
Why
why the
not?
why the hell? And then shipping was actually cheaper on that whole lot than it was for each individual book. So for just under $50, I got the 3 issues that I needed, and including the actual annual, which I didn't know that I needed, and multiple. So I've got like 3 issues of number one now, multiple issues of others, which
Sure.
is really cool because I love this series so much that my cousin, who's writing Recluse for me, I told him, I said, you really want to know where I drew my inspiration for my universe from? You've got to read these. So I gave him the first 4 issues to read. And I'm like, again, these are very important to me. I do have extra copies of them, so don't them up. But read these, and you'll be able to tell. And I think you'll like the story. So I open that to you guys as well. You guys are comics fan. You love this kind of stuff. So if you guys want to ever borrow them, let me know because it is a fantastic story.
Awesome. Very
So
cool. Yeah, I can't say that I've ever even heard of it, to be honest with you.
yeah,
I don't know that one. So it sounds fun. It definitely sounds like, and that's a weird time for comics too, right? I mean, I definitely will check it out for sure. So yeah, I'll
well,
look into that.
something also that's interesting about it is, like I said, it ran from 86 to 89. And I can't remember. It had to been either late 88. Well, they didn't really probably do that many in 89. So there had to been, it was probably mid 88, I would guess. But there is a distinct change in the way they were doing comics at the time. And it went from the old almost what do they call that? Where it's like the dot matrix kind of print, or I call it the dot. That may not be it, but when they would photograph it and it would come out in dots,
Yes.
and it wasn't as smooth and clear, to shifting over to having the pages that actually looked more like digitally done comics. It was like
Yeah,
you go from the old school newsprint style looking comics to now the pages actually look more like the covers. They're sleeker, the colors are crisper. Still not the way they look today, but there's a right in that range, and it's kind of cool to see that shift from that style of comic to that. They upgraded it. They changed the I should have brought one of those down to show the difference. But they actually changed the logo of DP7 and a few of the comics. But really, what it is the interiors are totally different and such a different quality. So it's neat to see that change.
that is cool.
Um, yeah, within that line. So a lot of cool things about that time frame of comics, and that's really I want to say that's really probably when I was first really starting to get into comics was because my first real comic that I when I started as a collector was X-Men Uncanny X-Men 211, the Fall of the Mutants series, which is also an amazing series because Claremont, I think it was Claremont that was doing it at the time,
Hmm.
and he wrote that for like I think I've got like issues 309 or 209 through 309 or something, which is a huge run of Uncanny
Yeah,
X-Men.
yeah, it is.
So, but
That's awesome.
thank you.
Well, I can talk a little bit about what I've been reading.
I would love to
Um,
hear that.
so I'll just, this one should be, people should know I'm going to hold this up, but it's Null Hunter. Null Hunter, this was number four. No, this was number five. Sorry. This series has continued to just kick ass. I I love it so much. It is its own unique thing. As I talked about before, it's sort of a cyberpunk story based on the labors of Hercules, which is
Oh yeah,
such
I
an
remember that. I remember talking about
interesting
that.
concept. There's some the art in this. I love the colors, but some of the choices that he's making, like with the way these panels are set up, like this is like a diamond on this side. Like,
That's cool. That is cool. I
what a
like
neat
that.
idea! Like, there's a lot of pages like that where the layout is so unique. And I don't, I look for that stuff, but I don't always, I don't always acknowledge it. But there's so many times when just like the way he's laying these things out is just, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So, highly recommend Null Hunter. Start from the beginning. What's beautiful about it is you don't need any prior experience with anything. It's its own unique thing. It's awesome. It's an image comic.
That's
Highly
very cool.
recommend. Yes, it's very cool.
Well, and that I like the non-traditional panel layout because in the first book that I did, it was pretty much traditional. I tried to stick within that 4 to 6 panel range. They're very square. Book
Yeah,
two is going to have some non-traditional panels in it, and I want to get more into that because that's the direction that comics are moving. Each page should look like a piece of artwork, and that what you just showed there was fantastic. That's really really cool.
yeah, and it's in every issue. It's just mind-blowingly good. So, highly recommend that. Uh, Next on my list is a new Dark Horse series. The series is called True Weird, but this particular run is called Let This One Be a Devil. I don't know how well you can
Okay.
see that. Pretty
Oh, cool, cool,
interesting
cool.
art
Yeah.
there. And what I love about this is it's multiple stories stitched together. It's not an anthology. They all are connected. Um, but it takes place over a pretty long period of time. There's some amazing art in this as well. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but um,
Oh yeah, that looks
what
good.
I don't know if you can really see it, but everything's lines. There's so many lines. I mean, yeah, comics art is lines. I get that, but like looking at like everything is just like a series of lines. You see that?
Very, yeah, very hatchy. Very, which is
That's the word.
which
Yep.
I enjoy that kind of. Again being into comics so much in the '90s, early '90s. That era there was a lot of scratchy lines and stuff. I enjoy that. So
Sure. Well, there's two main stories in this, and then it ends with a short story about like a poltergeist, which is just awesome. So it's like
well,
sort of like supernatural type. I think it's supposed to be the Jersey Devil.
okay.
I don't know that for sure.
What's the title of that again?
Let this one be a devil. It is from the series True Weird, which
True,
this
true.
is the very first one.
Okay, true weird. Okay,
But yeah, this has been fantastic so far. But literally, this is the first issue, and it just came out. So big thumbs up so far.
cool, cool.
And then the last one, I I don't think I've covered this issue yet on the show, and forgive me if I have, but this right now is my Marvel go-to.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
I have not heard of that.
Holy shit, Sean. I mean,
That
you can
that good?
tell that that's Wolverine and it's World War II. Um,
Oh, that already sounds fantastic.
it's
Say no more.
I gotta say a little bit more. I've been, if you're in the Discord, I've been kind of just gushing about this one. The first issue was amazing. So the main thrust of it is it's a Ghost Rider, it's Wolverine. There's a sort of Sorcerer Supreme, but he's not Doctor Strange. He looks almost more like Hulk Hogan. Uh, he's like a World War II guy, but he's Doctor Strange.
Okay,
It's it's really cool.
that's very cool and slightly disturbing at the
Yes,
same
I
time.
totally agree. But basically there's this special unit that is tracking down these supernatural Nazis, and so it's our Marvel boys up against some supernatural Nazis. What else? What else do you need?
I mean, I don't think you need much.
No, and I love, I'm a huge Ghost Rider fan. He's always been one of my favorites. This is a new Ghost Rider that's in this story, and this his entire backstory is different. He's a new character, and boy, it's cool. I really like it. I don't want to give it away, but it is. I really like it. So if you're into
Uh,
Marvel, it's worth it.
I am, and I'll have to check that out because I honestly I've never been a big Ghost Rider fan. You know, being a motorcycle guy and everything, you would think I'm in it. And I like motorcycles and skulls and fire. Why would I not like
Sure,
Ghost Rider?
all the
But
ingredients.
but I mean, I don't dislike Ghost Rider. I just have never really gotten into him. So having it as a new character, something new to check out, I might have to check that out and see.
It's yeah. You don't. There's no previous. It doesn't connect to any other lines. So it's yeah. You can start with the first one and be good.
Cool,
It'll
very
help
very
you to
cool.
know what a Sorcerer Supreme is, but you know all that stuff, so
Right,
you won't need anything.
right. No, that's kind of I like that. I love takes on comics like that and more. You know, how can we bend something? How can we change a story slightly? How can we do like a more historical thing? But pulling Wolverine, who would have been alive at that time, and sticking him in there and say, "This is what he was doing in 1948,"
Yep.
or
Yep.
42. You know,
Exactly. Exactly. Killing
so
Nazis.
killing Nazis, freaking Nazis. Yeah.
So so that's all my comic stuff. I've read a lot more, but those are the ones I wanted to get to today. As far as what I've been watching, I watched an amazing movie called The Dungeon Master recently. Have you seen The Dungeon Master from 1984?
I want to say yes, I probably have, but it was probably around 1985 or 86 when I saw it. So, because I know I saw it because I was a D&D kid. So,
Well, okay, and it's a sort of what do you want to call it? Like it's not really D&D related, but I think they
right,
want you to think that it is.
right,
It's one
right.
of those, and I don't know what kind of release it actually got, if it even was theatrical. Um, I guess it would have probably been, but so basically, the plot is this guy is a computer nerd.
Hmm.
His whole life runs. He basically has built this computer system that can it connects to his glasses. It can help him do his job. It connects to his watch. It can help him do things and time himself and do all kinds of
So
stuff.
it's Apple. Is that what?
Honestly, it's crazy because when you're watching it, it all seems so fantastic, but then you're like, wait, we have all that now. We have
Right,
all
right.
that.
Oh my God.
Like he can have a conversation with it and all that stuff. It's yeah, it's crazy. Um, but so what happens is, and it's a little bit unclear, but like he's like a computer guy, right? And then he goes home, he proposes to his wife, then they go to bed, and then they wake up, and all of a sudden there's an evil wizard who wants him to do these challenges. It's like I must have missed something, but like it's just like he proposes and they have a little conversation and then they go to bed and then they wake up and yeah, it's like weird dark fantasy world.
That
Uh,
happens to me all the time.
yeah, all the time. And so what I found is that it's directed by a bunch of different people because basically it's almost like an anthology, but they're all the same character going to different. They're almost like different scenarios, like they're almost like different campaigns or whatever in D&D, if you will.
Okay.
You get a new setup every time he basically he has to go into okay, there's different layers to this. There's the real world where they fell asleep. Then there's the world where he's facing off against this wizard. But then there's another layer deep where he is sending him to these different scenarios to be tested, right?
Okay.
And so he keeps like waking up on the ground and going, "What is it now?" And it's anyway. I can't tell you how amazing it is, but also it's really not good. But it's one of those where it's like if you don't have fun while watching this, something's wrong.
I know that I have seen that movie, and I think you're exactly right on luring D&D kids into it because it's the Dungeon Master. So why would I not? I know I'd seen that movie.
Well,
I feel like I can almost picture it on a video store shelf, but
probably so.
yeah,
Probably so. It is certainly, I think it's the first directing credit for Charles Band, who does the Full Moon. He's kind of like the Full Moon guy. I don't know if you know about Full Moon Pictures, but that's a whole
mm,
other thing. They do
I
like they do My Beloved Subspecies, all the
oh,
Puppet
okay,
Masters. They have so many
oh,
movies,
okay,
right?
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Usually, what normal people would call direct to DVD or VHS trash, but what I like to call solid gold.
Solid gold, absolutely.
So anyway, the Dungeon Master, it was on Amazon Prime for free for streaming.
Okay,
So I'm gonna have to say worth checking out for sure. I loved it.
man, fantastic,
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. So the next thing I watched was called The Slaughter of the Vampires. 1962, black and white. It is gothic as hell. And I mean in the traditional sense, but also it's pretty goth, I guess, in a modern sense. Um, it's like 80 minutes long. It's just an Italian like Dracula knockoff, basically.
Right, okay,
It's dubbed, so it's in English, but it's clearly was it's an Italian movie. Um, Seems like shot on location at a real castle. I can't really tell, and I haven't done any research, but to me, it didn't seem like a dinky movie set. It like seemed like some real locations. And basically, yeah, like this vampire shows up at this castle and starts feeding on people. And but they try to find him, and they try to he like gets the wife, and he I think the thing that like rules about it is the vampire himself is he's 60s cool. But so like looking
okay,
at it now,
okay.
he's he's like kind of a nerd, like I don't know, I don't want to say nerd, but like he's definitely like a weirdo. You'd be like, what the fuck? But but like for 60s, he's like the coolest guy. And he's doing like poetry and he's like seducing this woman with his words, and it's like beautiful black and white, and it's gothic castle and trees and starlight, and it just I love all that stuff. It's wonderful. So
Oh, does
um
it? So it takes place in the '60s then?
yeah, I can't really tell to be honest. I think probably earlier than that. I would guess.
Okay.
I would guess. You know what? It probably even tells you the year, and I. But it feels so 60s. I've never seen someone smoke more cigarettes. Uh, I don't know. I don't know what year it takes place, but anyway, doesn't matter. Uh, a great time. I loved it. I mean, you have to know what you're getting into here. Again, it's a black and white Italian vampire movie from 1962, so it won't be for everyone.
Just like
But
the '60s, it's solid gold.
solid gold. That's right. But I had a great time with that. If you're going to pick between these two, though, I think Dungeon Master is the one for most people. It's so ridiculous. It, yeah, boy, loved it. So
Awesome.
that's
Awesome.
that. Yep, that's that. Um, Last thing I watched, just last night, I watched this movie called Poison Ivy. Have you heard of that movie?
I have heard of that movie. I don't think I've seen it though, but I have heard of it for
That
sure.
was my thing. I've never heard of it. 5 Day Rentals just announced that they're going to cover them. So I thought,
Okay.
time to check it out. I don't want to give too much away, but it's definitely not the movie I was expecting to see, and I know there are more in the series, so I'm going to guess that they get crazier and crazier as they go along because it's like, how do we squeeze more out of this, basically from this one story? So
Right.
I'm hoping that they get crazier and crazier as they go, and I feel that they probably will. So, but this one was like a kind of a Lifetime style. It's more explicit, but it's got Drew Barrymore, Tom Skerritt's in it, um, Sarah
Okay.
Gilbert,
Okay.
Cheryl Ladd's in it. So there's some names you might
Yeah.
know.
You know what? Maybe I have seen this movie. I think I might have seen this movie. I don't remember it, but I think I've seen it.
Well, anyway, I had fun watching it with my wife. It's not, I wouldn't say that it's like my kind of movie, but whatever. I
Uh,
look forward
uh,
to listening to them talk about it.
about when was it? About when did it come out?
92.
92. Yeah, I think I did see that at some
Basically,
point
Drew Barrymore like infiltrates this family and tries to destroy them from within for we don't know why.
because she's Drew Barrymore. Why
I
not?
guess. Yeah, I guess.
Okay, okay,
But yeah,
yeah.
did I have fun watching it? Yes. Was I a little like, this is a strange choice for 5 Day Rentals? Yes. But do I have faith that the rest are going to get crazier and crazier and like I'm going to love them? Yes. And do I want to see obscure movies? Yes. So
Yes.
I'm along either way. So I
See,
look forward to it.
it's really funny because when talking to you guys coming on the show and when you guys talk about older shows and older movies like this, there was a time frame probably for me from between I would say 93, 4 up until maybe 99 that like when movie rental places were at their height where
Sure.
we would rent so many movies all the time. I mean, there were times when we would go in and there would be nothing on the new release wall that we hadn't
Yep.
seen, so we just go into the aisles and be like, what's this, what's this? So like I said, I am positive that I saw that movie at some point, and I don't know.
I mean, do you remember seeing Tom Skerritt's ass at any point?
I mean, how could I forget that? I knew there was a reason why that kept popping into
It's
my
in there.
head.
Well, anyway,
uh,
look out for their coverage of that. I look forward to hearing them talk about it. I love 5 Day Rentals. It's a great podcast.
awesome, very very cool.
That's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about as far as movies I've seen. Looks like Chris is trying to get in here. I see that he's joined, but he's
uh,
just a gray screen at this point.
yeah, I have nothing, just me and you right now.
Yeah,
So
man. He's here. He just gotta open the door, Chris.
Chris is
Uh,
in the void. Get in, Chris.
he's in the Phantom Zone. Well, I mean, I'm ready to get talking about Captain America, but
Should we
if Chris is here, maybe we'll just
jo-
for one more minute.
join hands, Chris?
Chris,
If you are here,
please
we'd like
give
to
us a
speak with
sign.
you.
Give us a sign of your presence. Come on, Chris. This is going to make riveting podcasting. People are going to be pulling over in their cars. They're hyperventilating. What's
Number one
happening?
show.
What's
They actually
happening?
spoke to Chris from.
From beyond the internet.
Uh,
Okay,
should we?
well,
If you want to FaceTime, we can put you up on.
come on, man. He's so close.
Uh,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what his deal is. Well, I guess we can start by saying we're going to be discussing Captain America: Brave New World. This will be a spoiler-heavy conversation, so probably from beyond this point, if you haven't seen it and you're interested at all, go see it and then come back to us. Otherwise, we're just going to be dropping them. So get ready. Spoiler town. We're entering. Um, I guess I'll start by saying, oh, was that you or was that Chris? I heard a
um,
thump.
that was probably me. That was me.
Okay,
I
I got
sorry.
excited. I'm going to start by just giving you a brief breakdown. It's about Captain America. Oh, there it is. There he is.
I heard a
Oh my.
breath. Chris.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Hey,
Chris with the steel chair.
If I did not start my taxes on this computer, I would have thrown this fucking thing across the room.
Well, you should have filmed it if
So,
you did. If you do
I
that,
know.
film it.
Well, it wouldn't be a very long filming.
Well, okay.
oh,
We've done it all, Chris. Unless there's anything that you have watched recently or played or whatever that you want to discuss, we are right into Captain America. We are there.
Okay, well, the fact that I'm probably about as red as the Red Hulk right now, it's probably a good time to join in.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, haven't you guys started talking about that? And I really don't have much of anything else that I've
Okay.
been.
Yeah,
So,
sure. Yeah, so then we'll get right into it.
go
So
for it.
this movie is about okay, let's just start with this. The last thing I had on my bingo card for Captain America Brave New World is sequel to Edward Norton Hulk.
Uh,
What the hell?
I wouldn't concur on that one.
Look, I like that movie. I think it's good. As far
I
as Hulk
actually
movies,
like the Hulk in that.
yeah,
Out of all the rest of them, the best, probably.
I like that movie, and
Yeah,
It,
I'm a Hulk fan. So well, go ahead, Sean.
it was a solid movie for what it was. It was a solid movie. I go back and forth on Norton. Sometimes I really like him. Sometimes I don't like him. But
right.
I
I
feel
think
like that
that's
was a
yeah.
solid movie. And no, I did not figure there was going to be connection the way there was to Cap. I
It's
did
more
not.
than
I
a
didn't.
few references. It's like
It's
it's a
like three
sequel,
fourths of the movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is just strange. But so I just really quickly have to say, and I think I've said this before on other shows or maybe this show, but that Edward Norton Hulk movie was very special to me because my friend and I in high school loved movies, and we always talked about, oh, wouldn't it be cool to do movie stuff? Well, he was inspired enough, and he went to college, and he got into the movies, and he did visual effects for that movie.
awesome.
So it was
That's
amazing.
cool.
It was amazing to go to the theater and see my friend's name in the credits.
Right,
When that movie came, we were so hyped about that movie. So that was that little extra cherry on top where I was like, oh,
right.
I just okay, yeah. And then I worked in the CD store, and we could put movies on, and anything Marvel was fair game, except Blade, obviously. Uh,
Right.
Damn it.
so I would put this movie on all the time because
Yeah,
we had a copy, and just like why not, so I do have a soft spot for that Ed Norton Hulk.
right.
So this movie, I'll just start by giving you the breakdown of what my viewing was like. I went with some friends. It was a Wednesday night. There was literally no one else in the theater. It was us, just one row. We had a blast watching it. We were making jokes. We were talking. I mean, we were being very rude, but there was no one else there, so
Right.
no worries.
Who
We had
gives
our
a shit?
own.
Yeah,
We had our own private screening, and
right.
because of that, I will always remember fondly seeing that movie in the theater. Very fondly. It was just a really fun time. So I have to give it that. But my thoughts on this movie are pretty complicated. So I know, Sean, you have some early impressions or first impressions. Why don't you go ahead?
Okay. So I really enjoyed it. I don't usually. Okay. So some of the listeners, viewers know that I bartend at a movie theater. And there's a how do I say it? From the top down, it's from Disney. We don't get to see those movies. We have to pay. We get free movies all the time, but we have to pay for any Marvel, any Disney movie, any Star Wars movie for the first 2 weeks. I was bartending, had a friend come in. She got a drink at the bar, and she's a huge Cap fan, and she was seeing it. And right at the time the bar closed, so she had an extra ticket. One of the other managers was coming to see it, so I actually got to see it with them on opening night, which was really cool. Um, that being said, I really enjoyed it. I I know there weren't high expectations necessarily for it from some people. Do I think that it is a gosh, I'm all of a sudden I can't talk.
Getting choked
Do I
up.
think it's a Chris, you jinxed me.
Could it be
Anyway,
the bullshit coming up right now?
You
Or
need some
no,
milk.
you stop it with that. Anyway, no, for real, it's is it an OG Marvel movie? No, it's not. But I liked it. I like what they did with it. I like the connections that are in it. I like the connections to the Hulk. I like the connections to the Eternals. I like the connections to Falcon Winter Soldier. For me, it worked. It was fun. It was a good movie. And did I expect it to be a 10? No. Would I rated it at around a 6 or 7? Probably, yeah. I like Mackey's performance. I felt that Harrison Ford did a good job with what was going on there. Could there have been more Red Hulk? Absolutely. Um, but again, overall, I thought it was a pretty solid movie. It was an enjoyable movie and a fun movie to watch. I got to watch it with some friends that I don't usually get to watch movies with. I got to watch it on opening night, so a lot of that works in there for me to make it what I really enjoyed. So
Sure.
that's
Understand.
that's my that's my basic review. And then I'll talk about what DK we were talking about earlier about how I relate it to the comic book world. But I'll let Chris give his opinion first because I'm sure he wants to shred me right now.
I obviously, by your guys' both opening statements, I'm going to be the fly in the ointment, and I would give this movie probably a 4.5.
Well,
There were
come on,
some.
give it 4 3/4, you stingy bastard.
You're lucky I don't fucking give it a 3. Um,
Okay.
The guy's on the cast for 1 minute and he's already pissed.
Oh man.
I told you it started off bad, and I'm just getting madder. No, I there were aspects that I liked. I love Anthony Mackie as Falcon, and the special effects were less than par.
Well, okay.
There were a
Let
lot of
me
aspects.
really quick. Hang on.
Okay,
In some places, less than par is being nice.
right.
In some places, the effects were wonderful. But that's the problem. That's my major issue. Is like this movie was so up and down, so disjointed, and
Well, and that's part of the biggest problem of this story. This story is so convoluted. They try to throw so much shit. You can tell this was two different movies that they pieced together. And then
it feels like
this
yeah,
whole
something.
$190 million budget is bullshit because it's probably the second shooting of the movie that cost $190 million. This
Well,
movie will lose money, flat out.
well, and they admitted it though that they've had so many reshoots because of just so many different issues and problems, and that's where like a lot of the movie felt like Winter Soldier to me because I think they were trying to work with some of those more traditional style combat scenes and effects, but then throwing the Red Hulk in there. I'm not disagreeing with you. I can't disagree with you guys on that because it could have been better. It could have been far better with that, and the story could have flowed a lot better.
Right.
So
I mean, and I think it's hilarious. First of all, yes, I get the whole physics of Captain America with the shield, or, why does Anthony Mackie even have the shield at this point? He's using, technology from an ethnocentric country that doesn't want anything to do with anybody else. And, why would he even need the shield? First of all, the physics of it, throw the shield, and then what if, he has to dodge something? The damn shield will rip off one of his wings. The, and
the
for
wings,
the fact that
hold on, are the wings not vibranium too?
yeah, in the new suit they are.
I thought
in
they
the
were.
new suit they are, but I meant in general, the whole principle of the winged cap doesn't make sense. Just my personal opinion. The fact that just take the damn serum, this has been the big, and to say, oh, well, he's being every man. Not every man has like billions of dollars of a technological suit that comes from,
Bro, you don't know what I got
Wakanda,
in my
yeah.
closet.
I agree.
I can make a really bad joke at this point, Shawn, but I'm gonna not touch that at all.
I do wish that he would not be Falcon anymore. He's still Falcon.
No, I want him to be Falcon.
No, I don't want.
He was
if he's going to be
great.
Cap, make him Cap. But,
No.
but then we can't have two. I don't want two Falcons. I've never been a fan of the Falcon. I think it's just the design and like the silly flying around. I don't know. I've never enjoyed that. The goggles. I say we get rid of that. Let him just be Captain America. I want to see him with the shield. I want to see him in the suit.
But the thing is he wouldn't be able to handle just being Captain America.
You mean against the Red Hulk or
against just about anybody? That wasn't an average street level. Right.
Yeah, right.
There's no way. And honestly, vibranium or not, Captain Shield or not, his ass would have been curb stomped by the Hulk.
What about the fighter jets too?
And that's what I mean. Just the internal concussion alone. No, it's going to absorb some of the, hits from stuff. But even Cap got thrown back several times. And he had a freaking super soldier.
But here's where I would step in and say, it's a Marvel movie. We got to give him a little bit to play with. I get it. I get why that stuff is happening. I'm not going to complain about that.
But it used to be where they would take those things into consideration.
Well, but
that's the thing.
To be fair, so now I don't believe this is the case, but in I believe it's in game. It was either in game or Infinity War. Um, Iron Man takes a full punch from Thanos, and it does knock him back. But I do not believe that his suit was vibranium at that point in time. But he took a full punch from Thanos, and we saw what a few full punches from Thanos can do to the Hulk. So Mackie having or Cap having a vibranium suit, yeah, I'm sure. Yes, did they go a little far? I'm not going to argue that they went maybe a little bit far with it, but I think that he can withstand a lot of that with the suit, just based on what we've seen in the past. Um, you know, the suit being able to absorb all the kinetic energy like Panther's suit, that was okay with me, and I can let a lot of that go because it isn't real. It's a Marvel movie, um, but yeah, I could get behind seeing him without the wings. Although I'm a wing. I love the winged character idea. I love that they finally put the bladed feathers in the suit. For God's sakes, I've been wanting to see that from since what's his Archangel came out in the comics. I wanted to
Yeah.
see that in the movie. So, and again, could they have done better? Absolutely, they could have done better. But like I told DK earlier, you could give me a Marvel turd sandwich. I'm going to eat it because I love it.
Well, and that's the problem though. We're expecting so little now when we had so much that was, yeah, there are a couple of turns. I mean, Iron Man 3 does exist, but
Well,
I think Iron Man 3 is
let me
okay, right?
let me segue this. This is what I was going to tell you, or what I was talking about earlier with DK. So you grew up reading comics with me, Chris. We know this.
yeah,
So you have your lines of comics. You have, and I use the basics for the example. You have Cap, you have Iron Man, you have Thor, and
right.
then you have a crossover event. And what happens in your crossover event, like Infinity War or Secret Wars or Fall of the Mutants? You have your top writers, your top artists, your best characters, your best colorists, and they all come together and they make this epic freaking book that is unbelievably awesome. And then what happens? Once that storyline's over, you go back to your regular lines of comics. They're not as good. The art is not as good. The writing is not as good most of the time. Occasionally you get a gem here or there, but that's what we're at now. We're trying to build back to that epic event where you have all the best of the best. And I understand that looking at what we have, you may be right. Yeah, we've been conditioned to have crappier Marvel movies, and hopefully once they start hitting Secret Wars and stuff, it will be back up to that level of Endgame and Infinity War. Maybe it won't. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but that's the way I'm seeing it. We're in the single issues right now, and the single issues are not always that great.
But the problem is they were still consistently good. There were a couple stinkers in there. Believe me, I have several, issues that, 1 out of 5 is just I wipe my ass with after taking a shit. But the 4 were consistently still pretty good. Out of the
Sometimes, but we also romanticize a lot because I'm reading some of the comics that I'm reading now that were the '80s comics. I mean, I love them and they mean a lot to me, but were they as good as I thought they were? I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
That's a good point, Shawn.
I'd argue against they were. I think that we've like
Well, I'm not accepting
watered
any
down.
arguments. What,
I
Hulk?
I, I really don't care.
I
But
think
I mean, the biggest argument is I think we've watered down, especially in the comic industry right now. We've watered down so many artists. They've gotten rid of so many of the old guard. They're trying to put in these new writers, and I think the biggest thing. I'm sorry, life experience has a lot to do with how well you can write. And if you go and look through some of these, basically these, resumes, especially some of the new writers, they're right out of college. They've gone from one area right into the other and then hand in something, especially something that's important, in the genre as important as a launching movie. I'm sorry, you get your best. You don't get like, well, this person did this one little short. It doesn't work that way. You get somebody that's gonna, one, loves the material, two, knows the material, and three, has had a track record. They're not doing that. I mean, Kevin Feige even himself said that they wanted directors and writers that had no knowledge of the source material, or at least little knowledge. How do you make a good movie that of a character or any IP that's had decades upon decades, almost a century of backstory?
I just don't see that being the issue with this one. I think it's just tech.
This whole
I think
story
this.
was so convoluted.
We're right. I think, but
I
I feel like
mean,
that's got to be the studio just saying we can't have this anymore. We got to have this. You have to change this. You have to change that.
well, and that's another thing. I'm sorry. You have a director, you have a writer. This writing group bullshit that Disney does is ridiculous and has ruined so many films.
Uh,
And to have to go through like all the different hands that are mostly just business people hands or HR hands or this or that. It has watered down any movie, not just Marvel movies, but there's a ton of stuff. If you go look at independent film, they go through very few hands before they come on screen. And how much has independent films actually, maybe not financially, but like creatively and, people liking has surpassed a lot of the mainstream films or comics or, etc.
sure.
I think the corporatization of these studios, of these publishing companies, I think has been the worst thing ever. Where's our Jim Shooter?
I mean, I won't disagree with you on that. You know that I don't disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
I mean that is, I said that with Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine was such a successful hit because it was fan service. And I mean, you can be all snotty and shitty about fan service all you want, but it's the fans that bring people to the movies. It's the fans that bring people to the comics, and it's what people want to see. They want to see the characters behave the way they behaved in the books, behave the way they behaved in all the stories. And you don't have to write the exact story,
No, and
but
I've never said that. Yeah.
yeah, no, I know that you don't say that, but I mean, that's just, again, that's, that is why that movie is the top grossing rated R movie ever. I mean, people love that movie. And like I said, I told somebody, I will bring my family to see that movie. I brought my family to see that movie. I'll pay to see that movie, even when when I can get that movie for free.
Right.
But there was something out right around the same time that was a superhero movie. I won't, I'm not, oh, it was Craven the Hunter, I think, right
Oh,
around that. Maybe.
Oh.
And it's like, I didn't see Craven the Hunter. Why didn't I see Craven the
I know
Hunter?
someone
Because,
did, but it wasn't me.
yeah, but it's like, again, I am with you on that. They need to be true to the legacy of the characters and the story, and you can't just piecemeal things together. That's why, in my opinion, and we may disagree on this, I don't think we do, but in my opinion, that's why the Snyder movies didn't work. It's all visual effects. His visual effects are great, but there's no story there.
No.
And that's something I had to learn, and I learned it more recently as an artist, because I would have told you a few years back that the art drives a comic, and really the art doesn't drive a comic. And there was another artist that kind of taught me this lesson. I was watching on YouTube, and he's like, man, I'm sorry. He's like, I'm an artist. He's like, but art doesn't drive it. He's like, story drives it. He's like, you look at I think it's the most popular, or was at one point the most popular comic in the world, and it was manga. It was One Punch Man. He's like, look at the art in this. He's like, his head looks like an egg.
Yeah.
He's like, the art is, it's the story that's driving this comic. So again, I don't disagree with you on that, and I think that you're right that there are certain aspects of the film industry which I obviously don't know, but when the corporation gets involved and says, well, the story is great, but we think you need to add this character, or we think you need to, take this one out, or we think the story needs to move in this direction because this is what we think, blah, 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 blah. Don't do what the fans want. Do fan service, at least to some degree.
Well, and that's just I. It's kind of funny. I got into kind of a argument with someone who's actually pretty significant writer, has done tons of stuff, and has worked on several well-known movies and shows. And I literally had everyone else agreeing with me that his statement basically was fans' opinion have no place in a writing room. Let the professionals handle it. Well, we've been doing that for the last few years, and look what mostly shit we've come up with. And then the one time that, the fans get kind of what they want with them in mind
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
the highest grossing R-rated movie and one of the highest grossing comic book movies.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to the whole.
It's the Hollywood bubble elitist. It really is.
Can we talk about the Hulk movie now? Please.
Wait, I gotta say one
Gentlemen,
more thing.
please.
It's the subverting.
We've heard
of the
this. We know.
expectations.
I just want to talk about the Hulk movie.
Okay, Hulk movie, go.
But it honestly has to do with it, and he's right. It's subverting expectations.
Yep.
And this could have been a good movie. Whether I like Captain Falcon or not, this could have been a good movie. It had to pick a lane. And I thought this movie as a whole was all over the place.
It was. It
And
definitely was.
a lot of it made no sense.
But what did you
Especially
think
the
of,
whole broccoli head storyline.
What did you think of topless
Go on.
Harrison Ford, though? Topless Harrison Ford. What did you think of that?
Hey, for a dude that's 80, hey, talk about lowering expectations to reality. Come on.
I'm with you.
You're not getting Chris Hemsworth at 80 years old, man.
The friend, one of the friends I saw it with, she's like, "Oh my god!" She's like, "I didn't expect to see that." She's like, "That was like the best jump scare in the whole movie." So, I don't know. I mean, where do we go? DK, go.
Okay,
help us with the Hulk movie.
All right. Red Hulk movie, 2025.
All right.
What was it? Was it really a Red Hulk movie?
No.
With 5 minutes of Hulk?
That's why I'm calling it that, because he's barely in it. Do you guys want to go through the plot?
Yeah, let's go through the plot.
Okay,
because there's so many plot
from
holes.
Wikipedia, but I just want to. And again, I found this movie to have some great stuff, but mostly way up and down, pretty poor writing, some weirdly bad, I thought, acting.
Yeah.
From a couple people, like some dialogue that just did not work.
Well, and some people I'm kind of surprised had bad dialogue.
Yeah.
Because they're good actors.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of them, but the first one I think of is the villain.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's a great actor, but like he had to stand perfectly still in all scenes. I don't know what was up with that. He's just like reading. Well, I'm reading lines of dialogue, and this is it. And don't be boring. So I don't know. Anyway, let's just go through the plot.
Okay.
5 months after Thaddeus Ross is elected president of the United States, he sends Sam Wilson and Torres, the new. Sorry, there's something on my. What is that? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Torres, the new Captain America and Falcon, respectively, to Mexico to stop the illegal sale of classified items stolen by the Serpent Society, a rogue special ops team led by Sidewinder. Any thoughts on Sidewinder?
He was I love the actor, so I mean,
I like him too. Yeah,
this was put in like way after the movie was initially shot. I mean,
kind of feels like it.
And then we didn't get a couple of the other Serpent Societies was actually cut out.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
So yeah,
I do like his scene. It's a little later when he's just shooting at Wilson in the truck. Yeah. I thought that scene was cool. He has some fun action in that moment. But
yeah.
Anyway, they recover the items, but Sidewinder escapes. Torres is excited to be taking on Wilson's former mantle, Falcon, but Wilson is hesitant to involve Torres in dangerous missions due to the pair not having superpowers like former Captain America Steve Rogers. You're not Steve Rogers.
That's for damn sure.
After the mission, Wilson and Torres train with Isaiah Bradley, a super soldier who was imprisoned and experimented on by the U.S. government. My dogs are going crazy. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
They're going nuts right now. I wonder what that's about.
Harrison
fans. Ford is here.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm sure everything's fine out there.
Giancarlo was there to get a paycheck just like he did in the film.
That's right. It's okay. Okay, I think they stopped.
Can I throw you off?
While no, while investigating, Wilson is ambushed by Sidewinder and captures him. Torres tracks a call on Sidewinder's phone to a hidden black site in West Virginia called Camp Echo 1. Ross tries to salvage the treaty, but the Japanese government blames him for the theft of their adamantium and the subsequent White House attack. Let's talk about that.
Adamantium.
Wait a minute, I skipped a whole paragraph?
Yeah.
I skipped a whole paragraph.
Well, so did the movie.
Yeah. Let's talk about the adamantium thing.
Okay.
I like that it's there. And I guess if you, for some reason, need to justify the Eternals, I guess it can come from that. I don't really understand
how many movies did it take to actually, acknowledge a giant fucking creature?
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
That's just been there for,
I think, but I kept hearing, online people going, whoa, when are they going to acknowledge that? So I guess it's like they felt they had to for some reason. I don't know. Maybe because people were annoyed by it. But I don't know. You could have just, I don't know. I'm not saying this, I don't know if we needed it, but whatever. It's okay. That doesn't make me mad. It's okay to see the hand and the clouds and the flying around. Like, I didn't mind that. It felt like Godzilla was going to come out.
No, but
I like that they did finally put. I mean, you can say they put adamantium in with Deadpool and Wolverine, but I like that they kind of they put it into this movie. I maybe not the biggest fan of how they that they used the connection to Eternals. But I will say this: it did make me go back to watch Eternals because I never really fully watched that movie. So, and I don't think it's as bad as I originally thought it was.
I think that movie's okay. It's fine. It's in the middle.
But
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Ross invites Wilson and Torres to a summit with the world leaders of the White House, and Wilson accepts on the condition that Bradley is also invited. Ross asks Wilson to help him reform the Avengers. Did that make anyone else just kind of go, oh, God, here we go? I don't know if we need the Avengers back. I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure that's trying to foreshadow the next movies and 100%. Saying that he'll have that Wilson will have a place in the movies. Mm-hmm. But I also think part of that's trying to validate Sam as Captain America to the people out there that still don't like him as Captain America, which again, I've never had a problem with Sam being Cap.
He's Captain America, plain and simple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. That's
So during the summit, Ross explains that a new metal, adamantium, has been discovered on Celestial Island. All that dialogue that Harrison Ford had to do for this, I couldn't believe they got him to say some of these lines. Talking about adamantium and Celestial Island and these accords and treaties. I couldn't believe that they got him to say some of that stuff. I was really surprised. And some of it was just Marvel jargon that, someone had to say it, I guess. But we were gonna
for somebody who claims to hate being Han Solo because he thought the character was flat, it's I don't know.
At this point, he's doing it for the paycheck. He's even said that.
He said that, yeah. He's like, I like the money part.
Yeah. Because somebody asked him, is like, well, why, with this and that and the dialogue and the physical activity, why would you even consider doing that? He goes, because of the paycheck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The money.
I mean.
Yep. All right.
Does he need more? I don't know.
He keeps crashing planes and smoking weed. He needs all he can get.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I guess.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs for up. You.
Yeah.
The recovered items were the first refined samples of the metal and were stolen from a Japanese mining operation. To avoid an arms race, Ross proposes a treaty to govern adamantium's mining and distribution. As he is talking, the song Mr. Blue plays and causes several men, including Bradley, to begin shooting at Ross and other dignitaries. Apprehended by Ross's head of security, former Black Widow Ruth Bat Seraph, the men regain their senses and deny any knowledge of the attack. At first, I was a little confused as to who that Black Widow was. But by the end, honestly, I thought I liked her.
She's not a Black Widow.
Well, former Black Widow.
No, she's not a Black Widow. She wasn't. That character is not the was not a Black Widow, was never a Black Widow. That Sabra, that was an Israeli Mossad who actually was a mutant.
All right. Oh, so you're talking about the
And
difference in the comics.
the difference in the
Yeah.
comics
Right.
and
But in
Marvel
this
was a,
movie, she's a
I
Black
know,
Widow.
but Marvel were cowards not to make her that.
Right.
I'm just saying. And
I forgot about
also,
that.
yeah, and also the oh shit. Now I went on that tirade. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Get your
I,
tirades in order,
I
boy.
know, right? It's kind of like this movie, it's all over the place. No, with the whole mind control aspect, I have like so many questions that it kind of made no sense whatsoever.
They don't even bother to try to explain it.
No.
And then you're not going to get, no,
And
they
that's what
don't
I mean.
bother.
It's like,
Have you ever been at a presidential dinner and heard a song and just started shooting? Come on. It happens to
yeah.
all of us once in our
Sure.
lifetime.
I have worried about that being a problem
That
for
was
me. Yes.
that was the connection to Zoolander. Was that a bad joke, guys? Come on, laugh
No,
at that.
I was drinking
I
and
don't
I almost spit
remember.
out my water.
I don't remember
Yes,
anything
You don't
like that in
remember
Zoolander.
that
when
was a Zoolander connection.
when they what was the song that they played, Chris, at Zoolander when
Spin me right round.
no, it was
No,
he had to kill
Oh,
the
relax.
yeah,
relax.
yeah.
Yes, and he had to
I
kill
remember
the
that now.
Malaysian
Okay, never
prime
mind.
minister.
I can't believe I forgot that. But yes, I think I've only seen Zoolander once. Sorry, my bad.
Homework. Go watch it.
Homework. All right. Okay, we back to the thing about Camp Echo 1. Ross tries to salvage the treaty, but the Japanese government blames him for the theft of adamantium and the White House attack. Ross realizes that the mastermind behind these events is Dr. Samuel Stearns, who gained advanced intelligence after being exposed to Bruce Banner's blood during the Abomination's rampage through Harlem, aka the entirety of the movie.
Captain Broccoli.
Yeah, that's it. Ross
Can we
imprisoned.
talk about that design?
I was like, just put a hat on this man.
Well, I mean, give him. He literally looked like somebody just stuck a thing of broccoli on top of his head and then plastered over it. I mean, give him a little more of the leader look.
Yeah,
You
there's
know,
versions of the leader where it's not like gross. It's just like, he's got a
and
bigger
like
head and green.
the makeup from like his face, not even including on top of his head, made him look like dead face. There was like no movement, no
He
emotion.
didn't hardly move at
No,
all.
I
I
know.
wonder if it's like the effects or whatever. I think a lot of his stuff was reshoots. It had to be.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it just
There's a scene when they're. Well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
okay.
Um.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thanks, bud. Have fun. I'll be out there later.
Wilson and Torres find Stearns and learn how he uses technology in the song Mr. Blue to control minds. He escapes while they are fighting mind-controlled soldiers. That all that action was just like, yeah, standard action. It wasn't terrible, but it didn't
Yeah.
I didn't have any like oh shit moments like a Daredevil would have. Bat Seraph investigates Camp Echo 1 herself and helps Wilson and Torres. They meet with Wilson's military friend Dennis Dumphy, which is a funny name, Dumphy. Humpty Dumphy. Had a great fall when his heart stopped. Who has heart? Okay, Sidewinder in custody. Wilson learns enough that from Sidewinder to deduce Stern's plans to destroy Ross's reputation. Wilson, Torres, and Bat Seraph go to Celestial Island, where Ross and the Prime Minister of Japan are racing to claim ownership of adamantium. Why would the president be there?
That was one of the. There is no way in hell that a president would be on a battleship in the middle of a mission. That goes back to it's like riding experience. Do you not know anything? There's no way in hell that a president would be on a battleship in the middle of an operation. I mean, zero.
Torres is critically injured in the fight. Ross tells Wilson that he is dying of heart failure and has had Stearns develop pills that have prolonged his life. Ross refuses to release Stearns for fear that he would no longer make the pills, leading to Stearns' anger and plans for revenge. It's just dumb. He could have figured it. I don't know.
So now we have Gamma. We can make Hulk Hulks out of pills.
Hmm. Yeah. And you know, the
What kind
biggest,
of shitty ass precedent is that?
my biggest bummer in this movie is that they make all this big deal about he needs to have those, he has those lollipops.
There's
But
a
never once does it go into his mouth.
Yeah,
there's
Not
a
one time.
there's a Viagra joke in there somewhere.
I know, right?
Sure.
The little
Sure.
red pill.
I mean, he didn't turn blue, so
Wilson is,
He should see a doctor about that.
yeah.
yes. Wilson
If
is,
it lasts for 4 hours, go
if
see
your
a
Red Hulk lasts for more than 4 hours, yes.
Oh,
All right, kids. Wilson is controlled by his friend Bucky Barnes. Consoled, not controlled. What the fuck? I don't know how to read. He's consoled by Bucky Barnes, which was a not a great cameo. I was honestly, I was hoping it was going to be old Steve Rogers. Like I thought it was going to be Steve
Yeah.
Rogers. Um,
You know what? At some point, it very well could have been, and they changed it.
hmm.
yeah.
Eh,
I was actually okay with that. I do like Sebastian Stan, and I
No, I
like
like
oh
him.
yeah, yeah,
It just didn't seem to mean much. It didn't seem to matter much. It didn't have that emotional punch I was hoping
no,
for.
no.
Let's see. Where was I? Oh, Stern kills Dunphy, who discovered that the pills have been adding gamma radiation to Ross's body and surrenders himself to Wilson. That scene, the surrendering himself, was the. There's no way those actors were in the same room together.
no,
Probably not in the same state, possibly country. Um, it just was abysmal the way that scene
right,
looked. He looked like he wasn't there, but he also looked like he was in front of a green screen.
yeah,
The background, I mean, it looked so bad. And I'm normally one that doesn't care. I can normally get past all this. But it just looked, it was so glaringly bad to me.
right.
I really, and
And
the
it's like, how
dialogue
did that
here,
even make the cutting room floor? I
and
mean, how bad was what they cut? I want to know if that's what they kept in.
it felt to me almost like we left the temporary footage in by accident.
Yeah,
Sincerely, it was not good. And again, I'm normally very easy on this stuff, but that was terrible.
yeah.
So yeah, turned himself in. Stern's arrest and connection to Ross are publicly revealed while the latter is at a press conference. Ross loses control of his emotions and transforms into a Red Hulk, destroying part of the White House. Since when are they red? Uh, Wilson attempts to calm him down by reminding him of visits to DC's cherry blossoms with Betty. The two fight until they are exhausted and Ross reverts to normal. Later, Bradley is exonerated. Wilson invites a recovering Torres to join the Avengers, and the treaty is ratified. Ross resigns and has himself incarcerated at the raft, where Wilson and Betty visit him. In a post-credits scene, an imprisoned Stearns warns Wilson of a coming attack from other worlds. The worst post-credits scene of all time.
Yeah.
Terrible. Terrible.
And it's like, the thing is like, why was the Betty scene in there other than just to give a little more connection to the Hulk?
If I can get more Liv Tyler in my life, I'll take it.
Just to have that little, 2 minute, if that scene.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm like,
and maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel like though that little scene, there were a couple other things. There's something that you mentioned earlier that I can't think of what it is, but I think that was their attempt at some fan service for people
Yes.
that liked the Hulk movies that wanted more of a connection. Why haven't we seen this? I feel like that was their attempt at that.
But
And again, I mean, what did they cut? How did they edit it? Where did some of the other stuff go?
but what a
I don't
strange
know.
choice to pick to make this a sequel to a movie from 15 plus years ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I
make
do-
any sense.
I
Look,
do
I
not
like
think
that Hulk
this movie. I do not think this movie initially was connected to that Hulk movie.
It's so weird, and it's just such a strange choice because if we're trying to reorient this whole thing and make the MCU like good and get us to a place where it can be good, what a weird thing to do to go back to a movie that was
Right.
already like people didn't love it, people didn't hate it.
Right.
Right.
It just seems weird to base all that, and then people who have seen every MCU movie, but maybe not the older ones, are going to be going like,
Who the hell
"What
are
the
these
hell is
people?
this?"
Yeah.
It's very strange. And again, I really had some trouble with some of the dialogue, terrible. Some of the deliveries, terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then on top of that, some of that CG. So, I don't like to give a number ranking, but I would not give this more than like maybe a six. I look, there are some things in that I did like. I had a fun time at the theater, but that was me making that happen,
I was going to say that was more of your atmosphere of going
Yeah.
to the movie than the actual movie itself. It
There's some
sounds like.
good there are some good Harrison Ford moments that I would have liked more. If you have Harrison Ford, whatever, but I did like it. I did like some of the stuff, I should say. I did like parts of it, but I could not give it more than maybe like a 6 out of 10. I don't know. Maybe even a 5. I just the whole thing felt like we have all these pieces and maybe we hope they'll fit together. We reshoot, and just band-aid it all. And it just felt like the band-aids were coming off and
Yeah.
the wounds were not healed.
The wounds were oozing.
Yeah. So while I was intrigued to see Mr. Blue, Samuel Stearns come back, the leader, I just, why do him like that? And like, I know he looked like that in the old Hulk movie. We only see him briefly anyway. They could have made him, it's been almost 20 years, like, make him look however you want.
But he
Why
really
have
didn't
you,
even look like that in the old movie. He
only for
actually looked
a moment,
better.
only for a moment does he
All
look
you
like that.
saw was him start turning green on
That's
his
what I mean.
head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could have gone so many different directions
Yep.
more than, the way they did.
I feel that my choice for that would have been to make his head look less like a bubbly grilled cheese sandwich
Mm,
and more like an
delicious.
actual, more very delicious, and more like a brain. Make it look more like his brain has grown to the size where it's impressed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because I
Mhm.
remember old comics of the leader. He just had a big head and he was
It's true.
skinny.
Yeah.
He has
Yeah.
hair and everything.
Well, I mean, the thing
Yeah,
is you could have almost
yeah,
gone like, you remember like Deep Space Nine, the Ferengi?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Goes regular ears, but that size of head.
yeah,
And it would have
yeah.
looked a little more like I don't know. I just
Why didn't they look at Deep Space Nine?
Exactly,
come on.
exactly. I mean, again, I didn't hate that, but I felt they could have done much better with that. It could have been, yeah.
Like in theory, I
And
like the idea of connecting to that Hulk movie, but when I look at what the product is, it's like I don't know if. But in a series where people are already complaining, I didn't watch the TV show, so how is he Captain America? I don't know
Right.
this. I don't, all that stuff. There's all these little things that if you didn't see every tiny little thing, you're not going to understand. When that is a huge complaint about your movie series, why would you lean so hard into that that the entire thing hinges on a movie that's maybe in the MCU, maybe not?
Right.
yeah, and maybe that was their thought process again as a studio or whatever is that we're going to make sure that we make this part of the MCU
Well, and they
because
did more with that in She-Hulk as well.
yeah,
In
yeah,
She-Hulk, they had Abomination, and it was Tim Roth. It was the same.
yeah,
It was
Yeah.
everything,
yeah.
which I liked seeing him. That was nice, but it just made more sense in She-Hulk to me.
It did, and I felt that She-Hulk was a pretty decent show. It was very enjoyable and
I liked
entertaining
it.
to me.
I know
But
Chris hates it. We
I
know
hate
yeah,
it.
Chris. We know.
I hate it.
We got it. I had a
you
great time with
hater,
that
you
show.
such a hater.
Um, so
I'm
yeah,
sorry I have taste.
far final thoughts on this movie. I cannot recommend. I
It
don't think
didn't
it's
need to
great.
exist.
No, I like going to the movies to see Marvel, and I'm with Shawn. Like I'm a Marvel apologist, and I love the movies. I'm looking forward to Thunderbolts. I have slightly higher
Hey, I'm
expectations of
I'm
fun.
actually looking forward to Thunderbolts. My only thing is I want to see how they actually we've already seen him, so it's not spoilers, but how the hell do you as basically street level heroes defeat Century? I hope it's not a, Guardians of the Galaxy dance off
Well, that would be great.
or sun's going down big fella kind of thing.
Guess we'll find out.
But I want to see, something else going on because the last trailer that we got, I actually liked quite a bit. Seeing him use the void powers on those people,
I don't think I've
Yeah,
seen that one
was
yet.
really cool, huh?
I don't think I've seen
It's
that trailer yet.
I don't think I've seen it either.
dude, we need to punch that up.
Major spoilers, Chris.
Punch it up, punch it up.
Punch it
We'll
up.
find it. No,
Okay.
but I mean, in closing, this movie did not need to exist. It honestly didn't. You know, if this is the direction that everything is going, which I don't think so. I think this has just been in the can so long that they had to get it out. And hopefully there's going to be a major like process shift with the MCU.
Would this be the big game trailer?
I think so.
Oh, okay. That would explain why I didn't see it. I was at the theater seeing Hard Eyes during the big game. It was wonderful. There was no one out. The roads were empty. The theater was empty. The whole town to myself. Okay. I will share this. Share sound. Boom. You should be seeing it. You got it?
See a cityscape.
Hey,
Let's talk
I don't
facts.
see anything.
The Avengers.
You don't see anything?
Mm-mm.
What the
It's
hell?
I get it's mine.
I got it.
Okay, all right. All right.
I still
you
get
hear
the
it?
little blue circle of death. No.
Wow, Chris. I'll stop the share and try it again. Your screen is now blank too. Like I can't even see your.
I know it like
Yeah. You're gone. You're back in the phantom zone.
Yeah, dude.
See, that's
How's
what
it-
you get for being so angry all the time.
How's it feel to be flipping around in a triangle? Videotape.
okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh,
All right.
did you close it out? Yeah.
I did. Let's try this again.
Okay.
How about that?
There we go.
Yeah.
Let's talk facts. The Avengers are not coming. Who will keep the American people safe?
Oh, I bet he will. He got a metal arm.
There's some big threat out there, and you are going to help me stop it.
So I didn't know that this movie was going to have like a big this. I don't want to say this bums me out, but like I thought this was going to be like them on a road trip, like having to do fights and like character building. But are they going to have to fight a big CG thing? That makes me sad.
Oh.
Wait, us?
Yeah, you. Why, you got someplace to be?
I love that guy.
So none of us comply? So what, we all just punch and shoot?
I can't think of a worse group of people trying to work together.
Everyone here has done bad things. You can't escape their past.
We're doing synchronized gunshots with the music. All right.
Hey, you know.
All right. It gets the people going.
It couldn't be worse.
All
Yeah.
right.
Hey, it's like your mind is somewhere else.
So you can do something about it now?
He's washing his arm with a dishwasher. That's good. I like that.
Or live with it forever.
This could get messy.
No shit. You thought you were gonna be some great saviors? You can't even save yourself.
Well, he's dead.
We can't do this. No one here is a hero.
Lena, when I look at you, I don't see your mistakes.
I gotta say, I love Wyatt Russell. I'm supporting him. I hope he does great.
That's why we need each other.
Okay, that was really good.
We are the Thunderbolts!
Can't call ourselves that.
God, thank you.
This has makings of team that can rise to glory. Bring light from the darkness.
I like Taskmaster getting another chance. I hope that's good. I do.
I like Taskmaster not looking like a guy for 5/6 of the movie, and then
That's a
at the very
specific
end of
fraction,
it,
Chris.
I know, right?
Oh my god.
This team can be the heroes on the Wheaties box. With a little giddy toy.
LA Alexei, have you slept?
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
I'd like not to die today, so maybe somebody else be driving.
So my only concern is that I was really just hoping for like a quirky action movie, something a little smaller. But I'm a little getting nervous when I'm seeing this big, a city is under attack. I don't want that anymore.
I don't know. I'm super excited for this. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be probably the best Marvel movie we've had in a while.
I hope so.
And
Suicide Squad #4 now. What is it?
Yeah. Maybe. But I will say something really cool when he says we could be the heroes on the Wheaties box. I don't know. You guys have a small town movie theater. The theater that I work at, they have a giant Wheaties box with all of them on it. And it is a super cool promo. And
that's funny.
I haven't seen that yet. Yeah.
Yeah. On the side of the box, it has, just different, like for, the percentages of stuff. And it's got like loyalty at this percentage and teamwork and strength. And but I mean, it is literally probably 6 by 12 foot, something like that. 6 by 10. I mean, it's huge. And I'm
awesome.
God, could I get that in my car? That would be so but yeah, it is. I'm excited for this movie. I think it's going to do good. And it's individually, I love some of those characters, didn't like some of those characters, but at the same time, yeah, I think it's going to be great. I hope it's great.
I hope so too.
I mean, the two characters I like the most out of there is John Walker and Bucky.
Yeah.
I mean, out of all the guys that are in there, I think John Walker got done. # John Walker did nothing wrong in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Well, he killed that guy.
He deserved it.
I wasn't a big fan of his in Falcon Winter Soldier.
You're not supposed to like him though, I think, right? I mean, he's a conflicted, difficult character.
Right. But I mean, I really like him in this. I like him as U.S. agent. I think he's going to be great in that. To be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of Yelena and Black Widow as much. And the look that she has in this movie, I'm like, okay. I mean, maybe I'm superficial. Maybe it's about looks. I don't know, but. And what's his name is Red Guardian. He kills me. The comments that he makes is just, and his like low key love for Bucky is just, that's hilarious.
I don't think it's low key.
Yeah. Okay. High key. How's that? Mm-hmm. In your face.
Yeah.
But
all right, guys. Well, is there anything else we have to do before we go?
I mean, not really that I can think of, but after watching this and knowing we've got 2 more shows after Thunderbolts. And also, just a little thing, did you notice the asterisk on Thunderbolts?
Yes.
There's a rumor that it's going to be Dark Avengers when it actually comes out, but that's just a rumor. But I mean,
like they'll change the name of the movie?
Yeah.
No, that's not going to happen.
I mean,
no.
But anyway, beside that, like I said, it's just a rumor, but I mean, it would make more sense because not a single one of them are actually on the comic version of the Thunderbolts. But anyway, with the 2 other projects that are coming out and where we're headed, because they've actually, I think, either they've started filming the first Doom, or they're going to next month.
Oh, you confused me so bad. Doom.
Sorry, Doomsday.
I get it.
Or not Doomsday.
Sorry, that
Doom.
was on me. No,
yeah,
that was on me.
Doom. Where do you think it's going to head? Like, because we have Ironheart, which is going to do nothing.
Is it actually coming? I thought that was canceled.
No, they're actually coming out this fall with it.
Okay.
It's either late summer or early fall.
Is it an actual movie or
no
show? It's a show, right?
Show. Marvel Plus.
Okay.
And then they've got one more thing that I can't think of off the top of my head. That's going to be a Marvel. I think it's a Disney Plus show, if I'm not mistaken. God,
are they doing another zombies? Aren't they doing a zombies one? Just
but that's this is something that they've had for a while that they were finishing.
Okay.
I mean, so where do you think after they're going with Fantastic Four?
Fantastic Four.
I am hopeful for that. I am. They showed the trailer in the theater, and everyone was like, "Yeah, that looks okay." I agree. I want to see
I
that.
I just cannot get over Reed Richards.
I think he's
I
fine.
that is
He's
I
totally fine.
no, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, no.
All right.
I just personally, Pedro Pascal is fine as an actor, but one, he's in fucking everything. It seems like, and I just when I look at him, I do not think smartest man in the world.
Most handsome and charming, maybe, but smartest?
No, I don't even think that.
I kind of agree with you. I'm not a. I mean, I love Pedro Pascal. I think he's great, but I think that's a draw. Everybody loves him. That's why they're putting him in the movie. I really wish they would have stuck with Krasinski. I liked him in, whether you loved or hated Multiverse, I liked him in that role. And if not him, I think they could have chosen somebody else, somebody new, somebody.
I mean,
You know,
honestly, I know he was in, DC superhero movies, but watching some of the stuff else that he's been in, and especially like seeing like dramatic movies that he's been in and's been really good. I thought Zachary Levi would have done a good Reed Richards.
I think I hate Zachary Levi.
That's fine with you,
I think
but
I don't like him. I would way rather have Pedro than Zachary Levi.
oh god, no,
Oh yeah.
no. Have you ever seen American Underdog movie?
No.
No. I mean,
Is it a 60s Italian vampire film?
no,
I haven't
it's
seen
no, it's the movie of Kurt Warner from being, almost homeless to being a NFL quarterback that wins a Super Bowl.
I gotcha.
Zachary Levi does have I had to look him up to make sure that I knew I had the right picture. He does look very, I don't know his acting ability, but he does look very much more like Reed Richards than Pedro
He's
Pascal.
Shazam.
Oh yeah, fuck that guy. I don't like that guy.
I don't like him at all. Sorry.
He does have. I will say that he does have a look, but he looks more like that. I mean, he looks more like Reed Richards than Pascal. But I don't know. Again, I really thought Krasinski looked the part. Now, was the acting in that? I don't know how I like him in that movie necessarily.
Well, that was like all green screen, everyone on their own. That
That,
was a horrible
that
mess.
was
Yeah.
Although, look, I like that movie. I don't care. That's a special one for me.
Yeah.
I'll defend Multiverse.
I'm a fan as well.
It was okay in a lot of spots. I had a lot of issues, especially with the whole Illuminati thing and the way they did all that. I think that could have been done way better.
Yeah.
Sure. The Pizza Papa.
Bruce
Papa
Campbell
always gets
does
paid.
not make that movie. I don't care if he.
Oh, he does.
No, he
And he
does
tells
not.
you when it's over.
Yeah. It was over at the beginning.
No, no.
But no, I think Rami got screwed on that movie. I think there was too many people in the studio that messed that movie over. It could have been so much better.
Do you think that it's possible that the studios and the corporate movie thing are screwing our movies up, Chris?
Yes. I know I've said it more than once.
Really?
Yeah.
That's new.
Oh, Chris, I
know,
love you.
right?
All right.
Hey, I don't change, so.
Gentlemen.
But anyway, you guys,
guy.
hold on. You guys never finished my question.
What's your question?
Like, where do you think this is going?
Secret Wars?
We've got, but I mean, past that.
How could I possibly know the way things are going?
Honestly, Secret Wars is a dangling carrot. To put, Robert Downey Jr. in as Doom is just something to get people in the seats.
It seems like
they could have picked somebody way better.
Well, isn't now? I've heard that it's confirmed, but I don't know for sure. Isn't Evans coming back as well?
I heard that, but I don't know.
It's not confirmed, but that's a big rumor. But still, yet again, that's okay. You're pushing this movie to make and I'm going to throw it back at you. You're pushing this movie to make Sam Captain America, but we're going to bring Chris Evans, Steve Rogers, back to Secret Wars.
But I don't think it's going to be Steve Rogers. What I'm thinking and what I've heard, again, I'm sure you guys have heard the
If
rumors.
it does the fucking Hydra captain,
Yes,
then that's bullshit, and it needs to burn down.
That's what I think they're doing. I think
because that was the dumbest fucking storyline they ever made.
I don't know that it'll be exactly that, but what I think it'll be is the alternate multiverse unit, however you want to be, that Robert Downey Jr. as Doom will be an iteration of Tony Stark as Doom. Yep. And I believe he will have the Dark Avengers, which will be Captain America and whoever else they can put in those roles. Now, I'm not necessarily saying I'm hopeful for that. I love Robert Downey Jr. I think he'll be great as Doom. I don't know how I feel about them casting him in that role just because, again, like you said, it's getting people in the seats. He towed the line of a lot of the early Marvel movies. So, I mean, again, I don't know, but that's the direction I think they're going with it. I think it's going to be less of I would like to see a full-on Secret Wars where it was more like the original 80s Secret Wars run.
Yes.
Me too, for sure.
Yes.
But I don't think they're going to go that way.
I mean, I get, there is the ultimate, not the ultimate, I can't think of it, the ultimate Iron Man. That was the Doom. I can't remember all. But he is not Doom. Robert Downey Jr. doesn't. You need someone. I mean, I would go with someone like Mads Mikkelsen. Or,
it would be cool to see Victor Von Doom.
That's
instead of Tony Stark as
right. I would be fine with somebody like Mads being, or
he's already in Doctor Strange.
I know that.
We already blew our chance.
Like that. Henry Cavill, or there's like hell, even Alan Richardson as Doom.
Do you want him for every role?
No. I told you I don't want him as Batman. I want Jensen Ackles as Batman.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that's really hard to see. Now, are you talking about where we're going after those movies?
And where are we going after those movies? I mean, everything that I've seen and some people that I've talked to, we're whether we like it or not, we are going to get the Young Avengers.
I think that's what they're setting it up to do.
And the X-Men, there's already been like a few casting rumors.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, again, of course, you never know, like DK said, but I think that after that movie, I think what'll happen is they'll go mutant heavy. They'll go more X-Men style, more storylines with that, and they'll basically take the characters that they've already set up to replace, like you said, the Young Avengers that they've already set up to replace the original MCU, and they'll start doing things with those characters. Like it or not, you'll have Ironheart. You'll have, I like what's her name? I can't think of her name now.
Kate Bishop.
Yes, thank you.
Haley Steinfeld.
I liked her, but I think they'll move in that direction. I think we'll get more Shang-Chi style stuff, which again we're going to break down back into those single line comics that they are probably not going to be that good. Some of them will be good, but probably more than not, they're not going to be great.
Well, speaking of single line comics, we are getting in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
So
thumbs up.
I mean, but that's kind of the one thing that pushes back against that not great single storylines of shows. I mean, what we've seen of Daredevil's kind of solo storyline has been fantastic.
Looking forward to that very much.
So, I think it's going to be, personally, I think it's going to be a combination. I think they're going to go heavy. Hopefully they'll go heavy on the mutants and they'll go good stories. Not just, and I don't honestly want to see a First Class again. I want to go back to, and this is a question I'm going to pose maybe for next episode. If we're going to go into like the kind of in between, Giant Size Annual #1 and Outback Mutants, who would we want to see? And I don't, honestly, if they're a no name, but they kind of, if you've seen them in something smaller,
You mean acting? You mean
like
we're
actors,
casting here.
actors casting, and storyline. I mean, there's a ton of phenomenal stories in between that era. So maybe that's a question for next episode, and to the listeners and viewers. What's with those parameters, who would you like to see in some of those spots, and what story? Well, I
All
think
right.
initially that's kind of where they're headed. Hopefully,
Yeah.
you never know, but if they want to get people's ass in the seats, I think that's what they need to do. It's time for to pull away from the Avengers a little bit. People have been clamoring since what? When was the merger finalized for Disney and Fox?
Feels like
Oh,
forever.
yeah, it was a while back. Yeah.
It was pre 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I still do not believe Feige when he said that they couldn't make mutants. I have the sales presentation in a fucking book this big. I've read everything. That was him doing it. That we haven't seen mutants yet. So,
Well, hopefully we've had enough time to plan it and do it correctly.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully they'll take notes on Deadpool and Wolverine. And when they start jumping into the mutants, because again, as we've seen, it can go really good or it can be really bad.
well, yes and no, because I don't want, you can have some humor in it, but I don't want what some of these movies have turned out to be, constant slapstick humor or constant one-liners.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
there's
maybe
some
the last Thor movie
serious
was a little too much in the.
was
I
way
get
too
it.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some of these, especially these mutant stories, are very serious and they deal with serious problems.
I would like to see Follow the Mutants. I would like to see that. I was talking to DK about that a little bit pre-show, and I would like to see a Follow the Mutants storyline. But
Well,
the
we got to let them rise first. Let them rise first.
Yeah, you know what? No, we don't. We take them out before they get up. That's how you take care of mutants.
You can start it with Mutant Registration Act.
Yeah,
and then move into the Fall of the Mutants.
But my fear is that was such a long running thing that they'll screw it up. They'll chop it. And
honestly, for me, I almost don't want them to be in the MCU. Just have your X-Men cinematic universe. Just like be separate if you want. I don't need them to all be together, and then they can cross over if they need to. But like, I don't know, right? I almost just want the X-Men to be their own thing at this point, and like put it in the 80s, put it in the 90s. I don't know. I want X-Men 97 to show the movie.
I think
the movie version.
Okay. I mean, it had a lot of good points, but you know me, some of the story was kind of. I want to see a one shot eventually of Inferno done right.
I totally agree.
I want to see a horror movie.
But you got to set all that stuff up first.
Well, that's what I said. Eventually,
take a while. Yeah.
Give me a one shot of Wolverine and Captain America in World War II.
Sure, that's what we've been talking about earlier today.
Yeah. Well, I like actually if you go back to X-Men. Oh shit! It's the one with right after Psylocke changes from English to Chinese, where she was that whole after the Siege Perilous. It's got Cap, Black Widow, yeah. I knew it was 2 something. It was 2 something, but it showed a lot of those flashback stories of him and Cap. So something like that. Just do you can do one shots, but they don't have to be necessarily connected to that main story, because Marvel's gonna Marvel. And they're going to have, at some point, one main running through storyline. But you can make good one-shot movies.
Well, and I think, again, going back to what we were talking about, and it constantly comes up when we talk about this, is that the executives, the higher-ups, they need to first and foremost hire good writers that know the source material, that honor the legacy of these characters, and that are willing, and then they need to step back and let them do that. Because again, those stories, whether you can, they look at it the way people I think view comics and cartoons all the time is it's just kid stuff. No, some of these stories, especially when you're talking about mutant stories, are heavy stories and heavy storylines. And if you have the right people honoring the source material and doing it, people will come to see it. You don't have to do things just to fill the seats. Like, you don't have to make Robert Downey Jr. Professor X to get people in the theater. I mean,
please don't do that.
No.
Oh no, I've said it. Oh God.
RDJ kind of already looks like a cancer patient with as skinny as he's gotten. Needing bald on top of it.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, but I'd still go see it.
All right, guys. All right. Is there more? Is there really more?
There's always more.
There's always more, damn it.
I think we are at a good stopping place.
Okay.
Guys, please join us in the Discord. Follow us on the social media. Let us know what you thought. If you check out any of the stuff we talked about, let us know. Let us know what you thought. Shawn, thanks for joining us. Chris, thanks for joining us as well.
I know, right? We're going to get that fixed this week.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's the end. And yeah, we'll talk to you next time, okay?
All right.
All right.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.